Hello there, I'm Debbie Indihar Giordano of Master Brokers. Welcome to our weekly video. This is Thursday, October 5th. Wow, we're already getting into the holiday season coming up, so it's going to be a fun time and looking forward to a great 2018. Look what's happening in Milpitas. 19 pending sales on MLS, which is good. That's a consistent amount. Two new listings, 1245 Fontainebleau Avenue, 4-bedroom, 3-bath. 2,097 square feet, lot size 6592, priced at $1,188,000. 2021 Conway Street, that's in Sunny Hills. Little starter house, 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,900 square feet, about 6,000 square foot lot for $688,888. That's well below the benchmark. Average home price in Milpitas is slightly over $1 million, so that one should go very, very quickly. And most people would rather buy a single family detached than a condominium, so that's a great buy. Current interest rates, we're still holding 4% for 30-year fixed conforming, 3.375 for 15-year fixed conforming, 4.25 for 30-year fixed jumbo, and 3.5 for 15-year fixed jumbo. So that's certainly not holding any buyers back from being out there and actively putting in offers on properties. So my mortgage broker talks about the economy, and he says weak economic news normally causes money to flow out of stocks and into bonds, helping bonds and home loans rates improve. In contrast, economic news normally has the opposite result. The final reading on the second quarter, the GNP, gross domestic product, grew to 3.1%, as opposed to a previous quarter, first quarter of 2017, of 1.2%. That was reported by the Bureau of Economic Analysis. It was the best reading since the 3.2% in the first quarter of 2015. GDP, which is the monetary value of all finished goods and services produced within a country's borders and time period, was boosted by stronger business and consumer spending. Inflation continues to run well below the Federal Reserve target of 2%. And we're certainly seeing that in the stock market. I know we've had a nice climb throughout this year, so I believe economic recovery is right there. San Jose Mercury News talks about the lack of affordable housing. They had an article, forecast, state won't be able to build enough to dent the home prices, making housing affordability in California difficult at best, by economist Jerry Nicholsberg. California appears unlikely to be able to build enough homes in the coming years to put a meaningful dent in skyrocketing housing prices triggered by a shortage of affordable dwellings, according to economists who prepared a new UCLA Anderson forecast. There needs to be 20% more housing to obtain a modest 10% reduction in price. So we know Milpitas has got a lot of product built here, and we're definitely meeting those housing demands, but statewide it still is a continuing crisis. In fact, they were talking about it will not be until 2024, I think I got the year right, that you'll even see any equilibrium where the housing demand meets supply. All right, when I list a property, a lot of times the sellers want to know what are the closing costs, and these are generally for Santa Clara County. There's a county transfer tax that's typically paid by the seller. Structural pest control clearance, that includes dry rot, termite infestation, and fungus. Typically, most of the sales are all as is, so we use the termite report as a disclosure, and typically the seller doesn't have to provide a clearance, so that was something that we did in the past. Prepayment penalty, if your mortgage holder requires that. Most loans don't, but there may be a prepayment penalty for an early payoff. Pro rata share of taxes. Taxes are due in December 10th and March 10th. And those in the December 10th taxes, that pays for July 1st through December 31st. And then the March payment pays for the beginning of the year, January 1st, through the end of that fiscal year, June 30th. So there might be a proration that's still due. Most people say, well, I've paid my taxes. Well, it may be paid in arrears, but not collected in the prorated amount due to close of escrow. And reconveyance of a deed from the lender, they charge, it's a nominal fee. Fire insurance, make sure, and I tell my sellers that you check with your insurance carrier. Once you cancel your insurance, you should be able to get a credit back unless you're transferring that policy to maybe another home. Interest on an existing loan. When you make your mortgage payment, which is typically due the first day of the month, that pays for the 30 days in arrears, the prior month for interest. So as we're closing escrow into that month, there will be a collection of some prorated interest that will be due on the mortgage. Then there's some miscellaneous fees, drawing fees, doc fees, notary fees, and recording fees. And then, of course, the brokerage fee, and all brokerage fees are negotiable, so you want to make sure you discuss that and make sure very clear what services you're going to get provided based on the compensation that the broker is going to get. Escrow fee and title insurance, that's typically paid here by the seller in Santa Clara County. However, if you're in Alameda County, that's a buyer paid expense. So that can change from county to county. 1-year home protection plan, a lot of buyers still like to have that 1-year peace of mind. It covers all the built-ins, electrical, plumbing. You can even get roof coverage. You can get even the appliances like the washer, dryer, refrigerator can all get covered. JCP report, the JCP is geologist report, and that talks about whether the home is in a flood zone or a special hazard zone or an earthquake zone, and that's disclosed to the buyer. That's only about $125, but that's typically picked up by the seller. Federal Express fees and courier fees, minor paid through the title company. A city transfer tax, you might want to watch what city you're buying into, but in Milpitas we do not have that. It was, at least as of today, we still don't have a city transfer tax, which makes it nice during the transaction. And then a transaction coordinator. I actually have one that I use in all my transactions for DocuSign. We do everything online, and she coordinates all the gathering of the paperwork, keeping the contract in line, and making sure that everything is up to code in terms of any guidelines that are passed by the state of California for guiding the transaction, and make sure that all the laws are adhered for the seller and the buyer. So updates to the city of Milpitas, you check their website, www.ci.milpitas.ca.gov. And of course, any market updates, be sure to contact me through my website at debbiegiordano.com. Nice to see you again. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And if you have any questions, you can call me at 408-945-8988. Thank you. Have a great weekend.